DJ Chris Black is here. DJ Them Jeans is here. What is up, 2023? How long goners? I have my pressed juice cleanse going on right now. Number 2, citrus, cucumber, pineapple, coconut water, lemon, aloe vera. A nice black drip coffee with my new pour over that my girlfriend's mommy got me for Christmas, and a little whole milk in there because, you know, I need those omega-3 calories or something.
I'm celebrating today, Jason, after years of legal battles. Thank God, De La Soul's first 6 albums are available on streaming services on March 3rd. So I'm just so happy.
This was your break the internet moment.
Yeah, I'm just so happy for all the dusty nerds who have speakers in their house. I'm sure they can't wait to stream this on Spotify, Apple, Tidal, and maybe who knows, maybe they buy these high quality MP3s. I honestly don't know. But it's a big day. I was up very early to hit a Tuesday Pilates this morning to kind of get my body right as well.
Where did we focus on? Was it total? Don't tell me it was total body.
It was total body, but this teacher is really the hard one, and she kind of likes me, I think, because I laugh sometimes when things are hard. I just giggle a little bit, and I think she appreciates the fact that
she's not the only immature person in the class.
No, more that she's making a big man laugh instead of cry, I think is kind of where she looks at it. But also maybe she appreciates another silly Billy like myself, even under the high stress of a workout.
Smiling and laughing through it all. How does she do it?
It's fucking crazy, bro. But how are you feeling otherwise? I know you've been back at Equinox, which I'm worried about Equinox. They've been having a tough week after they paid someone a probably large sum of money to come up with a bad ad campaign.
You know, we got beat up on Twitter a little bit, sure.
Who hasn't? But I'm asking, I'm
celebrated on Twitter.
I don't know. I mean, celebrated. I would say that, except that you're unfortunately deeply connected to me.
The only chink in my armor. Yeah.
I need a vibe. I mean, obviously Glendale's not the hottest location, so it's going to be a little different than maybe like an NYC or West Hollywood. But I guess I'm asking, do you feel like there are new members? Are these new members hot and rich?
Well, it's weird because like I've been saying the word EOY. I guess that's not a word, but for end of year.
Yeah, I know what it means. Thanks.
I know that you know because you have an email job, but I meant for anyone else who's listening. But does anyone say boy for beginning of year? Or is there another?
No one says that, and don't try to make that a thing. Don't make this LP because it's not going to stick.
How does one say beginning of year in an abbreviated tense?
I don't think it needs to be said. I don't think there's anything. I think that the problem is that people, these acronyms are unnecessary because obviously, as the dates get deeper into December and as the dates, are early in July, we know what that means. We know one of those things means end of year.
Well, I mean, the need for any of these obviously is zero, but we're past that now, and we have to make peace with it in our new. This is what I call our new normal.
Oh, I see. We're living in our new normal. I understand.
But yeah, if you want to report over there at Equinox for boy 23. Yeah, there are some hot people signing up. There was some new talent there that I was pretty impressed to see. There was some cool hip people there it was a little jarring to my system because usually Glendale is my
escape.
It's my oasis away from the yeah. And I like to keep it that way, which is odd because I always talk about it and big up it so much, but luckily it's been staying around the same. But yeah, it's been busy BOY. Obviously, none of these people are as hot and as rich as the gyms that you go to, the Easton gym.
That's right. Well, Easton's more full of actors that you may or may not recognize. But I'm asking, I guess, because you told me a little story about kind of being on the stretching mat where you spend most of your time with a pretty major celebrity. And this was, so he's not signing up. He was a member before. He didn't jump on the bandwagon for Boy 23.
He's probably been a member for a while, but that it's been laying a little dormant, which is, it happens to the best of us podcasters, audio creators. But you're not referring to any myriad member of System of a Down. I call them System.
No,
those
no.
guys are
No.
knocking through the halls. They're basically the bullies of my gym. they're always stealing my muscle milk.
I'm not even
my muscle milk money.
They're stealing your muscle milk quarters your mom gave you. I'm not even talking about the Armenian big butt hotties with the Beats and the Jordans. I'm talking about fellow podcaster, audio creator, artist, actor, comedian Mark Maron. And Jason reported from the mat at Equinox Glendale that Maron was there.
My mat.
And Maron was rocking a Comedy Store hoodie. And
God, I hope he doesn't listen to
and
this.
unfortunately some on running, which I guess for his age his age and income demographic that does track.
Yeah, I've been seeing more and more peers of ours who are starting to be.
Yeah.
They're getting a little less vigilant in the war against on running.
No, they're giving in.
So stay sharp, brothers.
It's so comfortable. For only $260, you can get an ugly shoe. But the thing that interests me most about Mark Maron's gym fit, he's a gym beanie guy, which is obviously
it has been chilly, but it is giving.
It's not
I
that
don't
chilly.
plan on doing a whole ton of workout today.
Exactly. Well, he also, he has a nice head of hair for his advanced age. I will give him credit there.
Yes.
So it may be, I guess it's better than him rocking like some sort of headband or something to keep it out of his face. But I guess that is the most, that just seems like the beanie in the gym is a very LA kind of look that I don't catch that much in New York because I think it's so cold there. You wear the beanie to the gym and you're happy to take it off.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So Maron, I don't want to, obviously I'm happy when anyone's in the gym because it's going to help them live longer and feel better. And that's something that I support. And that's not a joke.
Dude, give it up. Give it up for yourself for saying something so dope.
So what I'm saying is that I want to give it up, even though Mark Maron is dressed like a guy, who worked the late shift at a bar last night. I do want to give him props for kind of getting it in, and I just want to give him best wishes for the new year, and keep creating. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of all we can do, because that's what we're built for and born for.
Yeah, I feel it happening. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of creating this year. He, every time I see Mark in the streets of Cali, all over, up and down the coast, parts of Santa Barbara, Montecito, San Diego, they have a great little improv over there.
I love chuckle fuckers.
No, they got
in San Diego.
they got a store over there.
They got okay. We're going to talk to our guests about all these places today, but yeah,
We'll talk about that. But every time I see him, he really gives me that look, which is this motherfucking guy.
I don't think he knows who you are, but I think he hates what you stand for, and that's a very cool power to have, Jason.
If he doesn't know whomst I am, how does he know what I stand for?
Because he can look at you and tell you're a prick, just like everybody else. but some people some people find it charming and cool, and some people are just like, this guy's my competition. Whether it's, I don't need to know what he does for a living. Like, this guy could be trying to fuck my chick. I don't know.
Am I giving prick?
Yeah, you're giving prick. Oh, bro, you're giving big prick. But I think that it's only with men, of course.
Big clit, move over, big prick coming through.
I think you're just giving. I think you're just you have a competitive air about you that you're alpha, and even though Mark Maron has a lot more money than you, he is a beta. So I think it's,
no one's ever called me alpha, especially you, Chris.
well, you're not an alpha compared to a real one like me, but compared to a fucking like comedian, actor, former Air America mouthpiece, you are definitely an alpha.
I get it. There's like a big fish, small pond. Like if I were to be in something like the big leagues, like menswear blogging or something like that, it's a whole other story.
Exactly.
In terms of
you
alpha
get it.
behavior. Okay.
No, 100%. Yeah, it's
Cufflinks and
100%.
stuff like that. Manly shit.
No one's talking about cufflinks. But my question to you is, why did you not? Now you'll talk to anybody. You talk to people who could kill you. You talk to waiters. You talk to everybody. You make little small talk. It's kind of your
People that
thing.
could kill you.
You think it's so cute. It's like part of your charm. And
You're so jealous that I'm a chatty boy.
no, I love it. I love being a part of it and make it.
I got an answer for you, Chris, and I think you're gonna like it.
Okay, so the question is, let me pose the question officially. Why did you not? Because this is the most intimate setting that I think you've been in with podcast celebrity Mark Maron. Why did you not?
He crawled into my tangled web.
So why didn't you kind of? This is your home turf, in my opinion. So why, when Maron's putting the on runnings on your bands for stretching, why did you not break the ice with a fellow podcaster.
Why was
There's
I no show for the chattiness?
There's so much to talk about. You have a proven track record of annoying strangers. Why would you not do that with this stranger?
Well, because I got one answer for you, Chris. The gym is a sacred place. I don't fuck around there, okay?
I had a feeling this was
coming. It means everything to me.
I had a feeling this was coming, and I do agree with you. I do agree with you. But I just feel like for this...
Also, I could have been off an edible.
That's fine. I feel like you're going to be off an edible anytime you see Mark Maron because you're on edibles a lot and you see Mark Maron pretty often. So I don't think that's really...
This is a numbers game.
Yeah, this is a numbers game. So I guess my question is, next time, will them jeans nut up and maybe make a little small talk with Mark, or are you going to leave the who are your guys questioning to when he finally joins us on How Long Gone?
I don't know. I think it's gonna have to be a situation where it is so awkward if I didn't say like if we're in line together at the DMV or just some like. We're in the drunk tank together. He relapses, whatever. I get a little too loose at the Rose Bowl parade. I don't know. Whatever it is, in that situation where it's completely unavoidable, then I will be like, hey, man, who are your guys?
I love Bobcat, bro. I love Bobcat.
Lauren's Lauren. But, I don't, otherwise, I don't think, I don't know. Like, I have nothing to say to him. And he puts off such a do not disturb vibe that
he does. But you don't have anything to say to anybody, and that doesn't stop.
That's not true.
And I think
call me an ice pick the way I break the ice, Chris. I'm something like an ice pick the way I break this ice.
I'm something SUMMIN apostrophe.
Yeah, that was fabulous style.
The Big Hat King. All right, we do have a guest today, Esther King, a comedian that Jason and I are familiar with.
Esther King. Her name's Patinsky.
Yeah, but I can't pronounce that, so I'm just going to call her by her Instagram name.
Esther Pavitsky.
Maybe her middle name is King. Wouldn't that be cool?
Also known as Little Esther.
But yeah, anyway, she has a podcast called My Pleasure. That is very popular, and she also takes a lot of great pictures for the Instagram app.
Yeah, she's at the store, she's at the Improv, she's at the Ice House, she's at the Groundling.
Wow,
she's
Jason.
on the Joe Rogan Experience. She's all over the place.
Wait, has Esther done the Joe Rogan Experience?
She, according to Wiki, she was the very first female to appear on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Holy shit! Do you think he made her kind of put on a gi, or did she dress normally?
This is early days, man. I wonder how long ago that was.
That's very interesting.
And she's also friends with friend of the show Caroline Goldfarb, who does Fishwives.
Of course,
I'll be eating all of that chili crisp.
That makes one of us. All right, let's give Esther a jingle. I'm sure she's going to be just a ray of sunlight that we need on this overcast day.
Okay, fuck yeah.
Where are you coming to us from? Los Angeles? It looks like you're in is this your house, or are you at a co-working space?
This is my house. That is an interesting observation you made.
So there's like a geometric stained glass display behind you.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that a little bit more? It is funky, if you ask me.
Wow, I've never been asked. Thank you. I feel so honored. So this is it. I live in a very mid-century modern home that is like almost completely untouched since it was built, and I'm kind of identify as like a ghost, or at least friendly to ghosts. So I like living in a place that's like untouched.
Okay, so this is an untouched architectural masterpiece.
Yes.
And are you allowed to, obviously, does that mean that you're not allowed to make changes, and any sort of construction would have to be cleared with like the board and stuff like that?
No, I could do whatever I want, but I choose to honor the integrity of the Chinese doctors who lived here originally, who the house was built for. It was one of the first.
It is kind of giving ginseng now that you say that.
No, so one of the first homes in LA designed by a Chinese architect, and it was designed for doctors who were childless, who loved to entertain.
Niche bunch.
Yeah.
Wow, very, very niche.
So gay? Love to entertain and no kids.
Yeah,
that's me or a gay Chinese doctor.
Do we know what kind of medicine they were involved in?
No, I have no other answers, but
Just prep shots.
I should like meditate and see if the walls will give me more answers.
I have a question about those walls. Would you say that the home has good or bad bones?
Great bones. Such good bones. And
Okay.
by the way, I recently learned a thing that differentiates rich people from normal people, which is that whenever like rich people come into my home, they just point out what walls should be taken down. And it's actually very offensive. I'm like, well, wait, why? Like they're just so like all about.
So you're
taking
saying
walls
that
down.
rich people love open concept homes?
Well, that's that, but she's also saying like normal people don't even have that thought in their mind that you could pay somebody to
of
come
course,
in
of
and
course.
remove a wall. That's not even in your realm of possibilities as a poor.
Yes, and also the concept that people buy houses and then outgrow that house and buy another house is like so insane to me because I grew up in the same house my dad grew up in. So it's like you just have a house and then that's your house forever. in my mind.
Sure, yeah.
I'm kind of the same way as you, but then I have a life partner who is guiding me in a different direction where it's sort of like a hermit crab, like we need a new shell every 3 years or else we're poor, you know?
Wow. Okay. That can also be good.
It's good for me because he's driven to work harder so he can earn a little more money to kind of pay for the gardener and the pool boy and like that kind of stuff that he's kind of in charge of at the house, you know?
One day my house is going to be as big as Chris's.
What is the I don't have any desire to have a pool. I got to be honest with you. It just seems like a lot of pain in the ass.
I don't have a pool, and I thought like I really needed a pool to feel like I was a somebody. And I think I've finally realized that that's not the case, and that I agree. Like, there's all this upkeep that seems like I'm fine with just having grass instead.
So more down with just like a tennis court instead kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I'm literally, I would rather spend $100,000 on a tennis court for sure than a pool. Obviously, there's no woman in the world that would agree with that, so we're gonna go with a pool.
Yeah.
Pools are fun. So Esther,
Yeah, tennis court.
Esther, what's
yeah.
going on? So you live in LA. We live in the same neighborhood? I live in Glendale. Chris is in WeHo, Avi.
Oh my God, like so right in the middle of you guys, kind of Silver Lake. Hi.
Okay. Wow, great. What's up in Silver Lake besides gentrification? Is there anything else going on over there?
You know, to be honest, I'm very post gentrification, so I'm not even a part of that. I'm so after it. Like, I'm so late to it that does it really even count?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
That's an interesting way to justify
Thank you.
the displacement of POCs that you have caused on Los Angeles.
Look,
It's a new one.
it's interesting. Let's dive into that later. I've been in LA for 13 years, so I definitely, like you guys, am very much like an LA girly. Definitely self-identify as a LA hot girl. Gen Z has taught me if you want to be hot, all you have to do is decide you are. So I'm like making up for lost time, just living my best life in LA as a Silver Lake hot girl.
Okay, so what would you say are the top 3 Silver Lake hot girl spots if Jason and I were kind of looking to build with our own kind? Are we missing anything?
And you can't say Erewhon. That's an obvious one.
No, of course. I mean, don't embarrass me. I think that, like, sadly, like, I go to Starbucks a lot.
Why is that sad? Starbucks is dope.
Well,
They have drive-through. They have app.
it's sad because I live in like the coolest neighborhood for coffee shops, but I do the road a lot for stand-up, and so like that consistency of getting like an iced shaken oat milk espresso at a Starbucks is a very important like part of my anxious attachment.
Iced shaken.
They
oat
can't
milk
do honestly.
espresso.
If I saw you at like Dinosaur Coffee, that's more embarrassing than Starbucks.
Explain. I love that though.
Dinosaur Coffee just feels like I don't know. It feels like it's a daycare and like a gym. The vibe is like, the vibe is just so, the product is pretty good, honestly. Like the coffee is pretty good, but it's just like
Is it
too dorky.
Okay,
It's too
I
dorky.
totally agree. And there is something about Dinosaur Coffee to me that screams like I'm in my 20s and I just got here. And I've noticed like since I've become like a more adult, you know, I'm 34, I'm like really on this pedestal of like, I'm not in my 20s and I didn't just get here. And so like I know things.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll say also, in addition to your takedown of dinosaur coffee, is if a coffee shop is not making their own homemade in-house blended version of a nut milk, I'm kind of like, what is the point of you and what do you want from me?
But Starbucks doesn't make their own, do they? Or do they?
No, they don't. And Starbucks
But
is
they're in a
purely,
different category.
yeah.
They're
They're in the category of like, I'm going to be in Cleveland this weekend and I need to feel comfort in some way.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, you know, you asked like spots for just Silver Lake spots, whatever. It's like at least a place like Go Get 'em Tiger. They're putting in effort. They're making their own milk. Like, I know what I'm paying for. I know why I'm getting in my car and going there. There's a purpose. Whereas a place like these other random spots, I'm like, what are you really giving me that I can't do?
It's not value, I'll tell you that.
No, it's definitely not value.
Well, I've noticed the same thing. I drink a lot of coffee at home. I just make a pour over. That's it. But otherwise, when I go out, I'm often going to Starbucks just because the clientele at a lot of the third wave 20-something.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to work on my art project on my laptop. Coffee shops like that all over the world, not just in Silver Lake. It's just an insufferable crowd that I don't want to be around, and I would rather hit the drive-thru at Starbucks.
I don't want to go to Starbucks is too gross for me, and it's not even like a snob thing. I just don't like it. But I'm in a similar position as Jason. I went to a local coffee purveyor that I once loved and still love the product, and the crowd was so insane that I couldn't believe. I almost didn't want to leave because I was waiting for it to get worse.
I think it comes with age, honestly.
The barista has green hair. There's like a fat lesbian that works in a writer's room with like a giant dog. There's like nerdy couples in matching Crocs. It's like every single bad thing. And they were all interacting with each other as if it was okay. And that was the most shocking part. It was like I was the freak for being like a guy going to play tennis.
Wait, this is where the like most obvious hypocrite in me comes out, because I'm like, wait, that sounds fun. I want to be amongst the people. Like, I want to know what's out there and see what people are wearing. Because they're okay. So as much as I feel very above people who are younger than me and don't know how to use the Starbucks app, I also like want to be amongst the people. And
yeah, but Esther, that's what Phoenix and Cleveland are for, because then you're like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm just stopping through.
You're
I
getting
just wanted to see this fucking circus going on here. But when it's in LA and it's your choice of where you get to go and you can go wherever you want, then that's when it starts feeling kind of ugh.
It's actually a theory I've developed as a person who lives in West Hollywood, and I don't want to be on the East Side because the West Hollywood freak is like such a different kind and so far from me that I look at it as an alien being that I can just observe. Whereas if I'm in Silver Lake or Los Feliz, it's like, oh, these are people I kind of know.
They have your same tats as you. They're wearing the same sweatshirts as you. It's tough.
They're watching the same TV shows as you. You could like talk about Fleischman is in trouble at any time.
The Fleischmans are in trouble and all of that stuff.
Unfortunately, no. The people that are watching the same TV shows as me are my gay brothers in West Hollywood. It is not. It is not these snobs in on the East Side.
Now, wait. Do you guys know of this concept called the third place?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's called Equinox.
Oh, okay.
No, it's called the barbershop. For real, that's where I could say all of my locker room jokes with the fellas.
Okay, because I'm really on my pursuit of looking for a third place for myself. And like, sadly, whenever I do think about it, I'm like, a coffee shop is like my best option.
You should check out this new cool place called Soho House. It's like it's pretty affordable, but like you can kind of hang out
Use
there.
me as a referral. Have you ever thought about like hot Pilates or hot yoga as your third place? Is that something that you do, Esther?
Oh no, I don't. Every time I go to one of the classes, I leave like 11 minutes in a shame, like running out, and it just doesn't work out for me.
Really?
Yeah.
So you do 10, snot cry, and then you run out?
Yeah.
Forget your shoes, the whole thing.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a bad third place for you. But I think people hanging out at the coffee shop, it just doesn't really happen anymore unless you're like a college student.
You're right.
Or unless you're like a drug dealer.
Oh, okay. I'm not that yet.
Yeah, you're neither of those things as far as I know.
I think hanging out, I have a whole thing too about I don't use my laptop in public. Like I don't want people to see me working.
Unless it's airplane is probably a good third place because both of you guys are travelers all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
LAX is my third place.
That's such a flex. I'm so intimidated.
I travel on the airplanes sometimes, so
Esther, don't tell me that you're a JetBlue girl.
Hell no, I can't be because most of my flights are in and out of the Midwest, and JetBlue is not friendly to that. So I have to go like American Airlines. I was a Virgin girl, but that got taken away from us.
yeah, me too.
So yeah, American
Okay.
Airlines, United.
So are you from the Midwest?
Yeah, I grew up in Skokie, a suburb of Chicago that's famous for a KKK march. Heard of it?
No, I haven't actually.
I've heard of Skokie,
You have?
and I'm not telling you what. Yeah,
You're not-
I mean, never mind.
It does sound like a slur. The word Skokie does sound negative to me. Like it sounds like
It sounds like a brand of chewing tobacco. It does
Yeah,
sound
you
like a
fucking-
southern slur.
you're being a fucking
How far away
Skokie.
from the city is that? Shy City, Shy
Yeah.
Town.
Okay, so let me paint the picture. I would say we're about like 20 minutes from the city. I grew up on the border of Skokie and Evanston, so like Northwestern University campus is very much like at play in my childhood.
Yeah.
And the reason we're famous for a KKK march is because Skokie had the highest concentration of, that's a weird word for the rest of the sentence,
Of all the words, Esther.
of
all the fucking words.
the largest number of Holocaust survivors. And so that's why the KKK chose to march there. And we have this beautiful Holocaust museum. It's like a very Jewish community. It's very lovely.
So then the KKK they went up north, crossed the Mason-Dixie line, and said, "We're going to get them where it hurts the most."
Yes.
Fuck those KKK guys.
And beautiful
I know.
Skokie. Okay, so
It's not as nice as I make it sound, just to be clear.
don't worry. It doesn't sound nice.
When is that
Don't
going to
worry.
start? Well, when you are
Don't worry.
traveling a lot on your airlines that are not Delta to these sort of B cities, what are you doing when you touch down in Phoenix or Cleveland? Like when you're alone traveling most of the time, right?
Sometimes I travel with friends and sometimes I go alone, but a big part of the routine is like locating the nearest Starbucks or, some version of like an oat milk latte and
Okay,
getting on the Postmates.
and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, like,
Getting on the Postmates.
mhm.
Okay, so like you'll go in, you get into your hotel room, you hang up your evening gown for tonight's show, and then you start ordering different foods and drinks for the day.
Yeah, if it's not winter, definitely I'm a big walker. Like,
Okay.
a lot of walking around the city. I'm not a big tourist. Like, I don't really. This is my problem with travel. I don't really know what to do besides eat or drink.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, I recently went to Italy for the first time with a group of girlfriends, and
Nothing to do there but eat and drink, so don't feel bad.
right?
I'm sure you love looking at old building, but after day 3, you're like, this church is old.
Yeah, Esther, can you answer a challenge for us? Yeah, why do all women love to look at old buildings?
Or even just a piece of a building, like this pillar, 1700s, still here.
I actually think I can answer this after a winter break filled with a lot of Pinterest.
Pinter break.
It takes you. You go away. You go somewhere else. It's a magical fantasy world, I think.
But you want to be transported to a time of yore because they treated women better back then?
No, it has nothing to do. It's a fantasy. So I didn't really,
Okay.
It's not like I'm thinking about the facts of what it was like when that was happening. It's more just like,
Take me anywhere but here.
Yeah,
yes.
it's like closing your eyes and imagining that you're, holding hands with Pacey on Dawson's Creek. It's not like he's that good of a guy.
That's why I listen to Morrissey.
but he's better than what you
It's
got.
very much, and anywhere but here is really what.
So chicas like to be transported.
Yeah, do you guys not also like looking
No.
at old buildings? No way.
No, I hate.
I mean,
being
I'm cool with
transported.
it. I'm fine with it, but it's not something that I yearn for. You know what I mean?
The idea of walking around in oppressive heat, in sweating through my clothes to look at a building that I don't care about, that usually has some sort of like religious tone that I also don't care about, and then it's also surrounded by stinky people, is not really top of mind for me. But I do find that I'm the outlier because most people, men and women, do like that more than I do.
I actually think I am more in alignment with you because it's out. Do you only like eating and consuming beverages on vacation as well.
Damn, Esther, you really know me. I only like consuming beverages all the time. I'm water,
Okay.
water and coffee, and then an occasional third beverage that could make it into the rotation. Coconut water, never a tea. That's disgusting. Hot water is not like flavor. It doesn't do anything for me. It's like soup. Why would
Esther's
I have
looking
that?
for her third place. Chris is looking for his third beverage to sort of
Exactly.
zip into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what is well, I mean, I don't you're saying that when you're in Italy with the girlies and they're ordering, the charcuterie plate and the pasta courses and the whole thing, you're like,
Should we get another spritz? No. Fuck it.
What I enjoyed of travel was being with friends and sharing meals and trying new foods. And like, I didn't as much participate in the beach.
You could do that at the Glendale Galleria, though. You know what
yeah,
I'm
you ever
saying?
been to a food
For
court?
a lot cheaper.
I'll take you to Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, and Arby's in one sitting, and we'll see what's really good.
Yeah, with friendship, too.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I also feel like I would rather go to a movie theater with a large popcorn and a soda than like travel Europe. I do think that that's more better for me.
Travel to Babylon instead.
Mhm.
It's because traveling is extremely overrated, and I come from a place of privilege where I am able to travel for my job and for pleasure. But I don't think I don't know. I hate the movies too, so I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
Interesting. What do you like? I love that you don't like a lot of things.
Well, I mean, all kinds of stuff. I love, reality television. I love going to the grocery store to overpay. I love being on a plane.
He likes music that has guitars in it. Remember that, Esther?
Yeah, I love music with guitar. You're probably not old enough to remember that, but yeah, music with guitars. Stuff
Before
like
all
that.
this oonce happened.
I love books, I love stuff like that, but yeah, I just don't
He loves a good tie, a good necktie.
what do I love? What the fuck? What are you talking about? I mean, I guess I like ties as much as the next guy.
Wow, really defensive about the ties is interesting.
We both clocked that, didn't we, Esther?
I just don't think that's like a brand pillar for me necessarily.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he used to like drugs, and now he replaced it with fitness.
Yeah.
And I think, Esther, are you still on a cannabis cleanse, or have you given in
So
to the spleef?
Here's my story. I
Also, Jason, it's a tree tox. You coined that. Tree tox is the term we use for detoxing from cannabis. Tree tox, which is good.
So I had never tried drugs or alcohol for my entire life, until I was 33 last year. I tried.
No way.
Yes.
Skokie straight edge till 33?
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's like
That's amazing.
It's like me, Dane Cook, and Donald Trump that have been sober our whole lives. It's such a bad list of
me and
people.
the fellas.
I don't know who's more toxic and damaging to this country.
It's so scary, like my peers. But then last.
How is Dane, by the way?
Love the guy.
Next question.
So then I randomly got in the situation where I tried weed and loved it, and then literally had it every single day.
Okay, hold on. Randomly got into this situation where I smoked weed. Which celebrity passed you the blunt and you couldn't say no?
I wish it was something like that, but no, I've said no to many celebrities the last 13 years of not wanting to do drugs. In fact, like so many cool, smart people trying to convince me, and I was just like, no, I'm scared.
Can you name it? So it was just a random unhoused person on Bellevue who was like, yo, hit this real quick. And you're like, you know what? Today's the day.
No.
You're saying that Chelsea Handler has good weed. Like, it's fine.
Who's one super cool celeb that was like, yo, hit this, Esther? And you're like, I'm fine with my Starbies.
I think they've all been since Me Too, so it's not worth like associating the names. But So basically what I had this like very painful situation. Like, I'll just be honest, like trigger warning. So I had a miscarriage, which is it's all good. Like everything's fine. But afterwards I had to have this surgery, which some may call it an abortion. And it ended up being really, really painful. And I was in this situation where I was like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm going to die. And I had never really taken a prescription drug or anything. And I had this hydrocodone from the doctor. I took it. It immediately made all my pain go away. And I was like, oh my God, is this what it's like to be high? I love this. I want to feel this all the time. And then my guy friends were like,
Really?
they were like, do not take another hydrocodone for sure. We think what you want is weed. And so then I like tried edibles and was like, oh, this is fun. And so then I became addicted to weed for a year, but recently took two weeks off. So that's my long, sad.
Okay. Follow-up question. Do you still have the hydrocodone? That's why your friends are like, no, don't take another pill. How many do you have in there?
Esther, I know it says expired. They don't really expire. Like, it's fine. Like, you can take.
You can get more, right?
It's
like
fine. It's fine.
Because you have chronic pain. It's really bad.
Tell the doctor it like still hurts.
So you took the one pill and you're like, damn, I'm feeling like Kid Cudi right now. Life is good.
Exactly.
My chronic pain is gone. My abortion pain is gone.
Yeah, I was like,
and
I
then
was smiling.
Why not do this every day?
Yeah, exactly.
For the first time, I smiled.
I was in my parents' basement. I was on the futon where I sleep, just smiling. And I was like, this is honestly
going to make me relapse. This description of being high at your parents' basement is exactly.
Yeah, if you could be this happy and serene while on a futon in your parents' basement, which is usually like a rock bottom situation, and you're like, I am... Woo!
Yeah, you're feeling good. You're flying high and Skokie, gone off the codeine.
Yes, it was really remarkable. But like all addicts, it then spiraled me into doing drugs every day for a year and a half.
Like all addicts, she's been doing drugs for 1 year.
So, well, now if but did you find the marijuana consumption, did it help, hurt, like your day in, day out, your process as far as
did your
comedy
tolerance increase to the point where it was becoming a problem for you?
These are all great questions. So for me,
where do you start?
I quickly realized it was something that I did not like doing during the day. It made me feel really like sad and lazy in the day. But like basically my routine is like after I do a set, because I do stand up at night most nights, I would just come home, cruise out on some edibles.
Cruise out?
Cruise out, as they say. As they
say, as the weed doers.
Did it ever get to the point where like you have the edible in your hand and as soon as you go off stage at the store, they're like, all right, Esther, make the noise, and then you pop it down as soon as you're leaving the stage, or you wait till you get home and brush your teeth and wash your face?
The second I'm off stage, of course, those were moments. Of course, before I went on stage, because I knew it would hit at the right time. Like I've done it all.
Jason, if you have to get off stage and sit at a table in a corner with Chris D'Elia for 30 minutes, I'm going to be taking that. I'm going to be hitting the pack too, right before. I mean,
I'm going to need at least 30 milligrams.
Yeah, I'm going to need at least 30.
If I'm going to have to sit on his lap, I'm going to have to get something in me.
Exactly.
Okay, so then you were like, okay, it's the end of the year, new me. I've taken stock. I've been journaling. Maybe I'll take a tree talks for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah. So just to overall, like weed has been a very positive, thing in my life. Like it's made me feel relaxed in a way I've never really felt before. It's made me like realize that my relationship with my parents is like a little emotionally incestual, and like it's just like really made me see shit, right? And so then I did realize, wait, I can't go a day without this. I should take a break, and never was able to, but then I got a cold, and that just like
classic.
I got 2 weeks off from it, feeling really good about that. Now this seems to be a big topic of going on and off. Like, what is that relationship? What is your deal with that?
I don't have a deal with that. That's Jason's deal.
Okay.
I'm off. I mean, I'm sober. It's been like 6 years.
Yeah, he's fully sober. He's fully sober. So the only time he gets a treat is when it's like a cookie or something. But for me, speaking of going to Italy for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Now every time my annual summer trip to Italy or wherever it is, Greece or Spain or whatever.
We get it. This podcast is doing well. Relax.
I've never been,
Jesus.
No, I'm just saying like whichever place that all the influencers decide you have to go to this next summer, once you do that with international travel, I don't want to bring a bunch of drugs on there. So those 2 weeks that I'm in Italy, that's when I take the time off from the drugs. And then you sort of have to white knuckle going to sleep every night. You replace it with fine Sicilian wines.
I was about to say, you just get extremely drunk and smoke more cigarettes is how you kind of deal with your tree talks.
Look, we all cleanse differently.
That's true.
And then when you get home, you're just like, all right, you get all the dreams and nightmares out of your system.
It's cute that you guys are doing this because any drug addict will tell you that the detoxing part is just so the drugs hit harder the next time you take them. That's the whole.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
That's the whole point. I mean, if you can make it through, 48 hours.
That's why I'm doing a juice cleanse today. So tomorrow I'll have like a quesadilla for breakfast.
Also,
it doesn't fucking matter.
I read that like in a perfect world, you should only have your caffeine or coffee like every other day, so that it hits really hard. I don't think I could ever do that, but it is something.
I can't do that either.
I would love.
That makes sense, though.
I would love a way to have my caffeine hit harder. Is what I'm looking for. I'll just put that out there.
You should try to snort it. I've never done it, but it's not.
Yeah, you could buy pills and just snort it.
The only time coffee really works anymore is when I'm jet lagged. Like because I won't sleep on the plane and I'll get to Europe and I will go to the hotel, I'll shower, I'll take a short nap, and then I'll have a coffee, and it feels like I'm on cocaine. It's the only time I'm blasting the fuck off.
So
it's the only time.
Lucky, so blessed.
I know, and it's not even good fourth wave or even Starbucks. Like it's just whatever they got.
Some shit he got at Vaughn's. Well, Esther, speaking of your oat milk addiction, have you ever thought about drinking whole cow's milk instead of that unhealthy kind of seed oil cancer-causing oat milk?
Okay,
that makes people have death.
I'm definitely cutting back on oat milk because I am aware of the seed oil issue, and it's disturbing.
Yeah.
Whole cow's milk.
I got big ass titties from it. Whole cow's milk. You have a little problem with it?
I would try it. I think I definitely am more towards like making my own almond milk is the better way. Or
do you have any lactose issues, or can you handle everything?
You're from Chicago, for Christ's sake.
If I say I do you need like papers to prove it, or like is it okay if it's just like
you don't have to show us?
No, we all know that you're lying, and you're also probably I have a gluten intolerance. It's like I won't die, but like I'd rather not.
I eat everything. I don't care anymore. I was vegan for like 3 years, and then now I'm just like give me everything. I don't care if it gives me a stomach ache. Like
there we go.
Just let's party.
Let's just party. Let's put anything you got inside this little mouth of mine. I was listening to your podcast, your most recent episode, and you're talking about having a collection of hot girl jars in your house, and we all have that. It's where you put some of your cool products. Chris, I'm sure you have repurposed an Erewhon jar and filled it with
me?
Filled it with some cool things like that. But you mentioned that your hot girl jars were all filled with just different nuts.
Yeah.
Just almonds, cashews, Brazil nuts.
So are you saying
that
are you a bulk bin chick?
Wow, that's really insulting.
Are you just a nutty chick?
Absolutely not. The bulk bin is really scary to me, germs wise. That's pre-pandemic. I was ahead of this.
That's pre-pandemic. Okay.
Okay.
So from a calorie perspective, are hot girls eating this many nuts all the time?
Okay, so my relationship with nuts all started when I started opening on the road for Mark Maron. I would go to his house. I'd walk in and there'd just be this most magical smell of like first
floored
class.
by the smell of nut.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Maron's cribs smell like nut is what you're saying?
Yeah.
First class nut smell.
And so it opened my mind.
Waffle.
Are you saying what is he roasting them? Like I don't know, why do they?
He's air frying nuts. So it's like, what makes you feel more like you're on a first class flight than like a hot nut mix? What makes you feel most like you're living your best, hottest girl life than like being someone that just eats like a small handful of nuts when they're hungry? There's all of these aspirational,
that's true.
aspirational elements for me that I get out of eating my own homemade air fried cashew mix. Cashew's my favorite. That's like the most.
Can you kind of drop off a sample for me? I would love to, because I'm a big nut mix guy myself, and I find that it's more of like a high-end hotel bar association to me. Like if you go to like the Four Seasons, they have a proprietary nut mix. If you go to Bemelman's, if you go to like whatever, they usually have.
He likes a bar nut. You go 2 espresso martinis and some bar nuts, and keep
because if you don't drink and you just sit at the bar, you have to drink water while these idiots talk to you that you don't really like. the nuts kind of make it okay that you have another hour until you get to have pizza.
Yes.
So that's kind of where. But you're saying that you like to keep them around the house to have a little snack because it makes you feel hot.
Yeah, like if I'm, in a rush, in a pinch where I need a snack, I do I have my jars, right?
I pull out the air fryer from the top shelf if I'm in a rush.
Air fryer is always out. I'm not like a take and put away. I don't put things away.
Okay.
Things do not get put away.
It's always out. It's always on. Ready to go.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay.
But yeah, like a main focus of cashews, a couple walnuts, a Brazil nut to get my daily selenium, trying to use that to help my period cramps. And some almonds, but almonds have been not really hitting the spot lately.
Well, what happens to a nut in the air fryer?
Yeah.
Does it other than getting warmer in temperature, does it get crunchier?
Oh my God. Are you guys kidding?
No, I've never air fried a collection of Brazil nuts in my entire life. Believe it or not. I mean, I've had like a hot roasted nut on the street corner in New York. Not so much on a first class flight. The Emirates to Dubai is more of an upscale thing than a hot peanut.
Esther's definitely taking the Saudi money just for the nuts.
Hot peanuts. There's a first class flight here. Hot peanuts. Okay, so what? Walk me through the mouthfeel, the texture, the flavor, the nutritional differences.
Well, let me just put it for you like this, okay? When you go to the grocery store, you can buy your nuts raw, you can buy them roasted. Everyone, if you're looking for a fun time, you're getting them roasted. That just brings out the flavor. But just imagine you did that fresh at home yourself. You're getting the instant benefits. It's almost like picking a fresh avocado off the tree and cracking it open.
So it sounds like the difference between like a fresh popped popcorn versus a bag of Boom Chicka Pop that was popped 7 months ago.
1,000,000%. Yes. And that is my trigger food. So I will have to deal with that.
What, popcorn?
So good. Yeah. That's when I get my munchy snack attacks, I need homemade popcorn.
Well, that's a great trigger food. It's a good, pretty healthy, low calorie snack, depending on how much butter you're squirting.
No, I'll maybe a little melted Kerrygold butter. Although I just saw TikTok that Kerrygold butter is not what they say it is. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do they say it is?
That's
what
crazy.
is it actually?
Yeah.
It's just not
my Kerrygold.
It's not what they say it is. It's like everything else in our world.
It's a wolf in sheep's clothing butter.
Yeah.
So you're saying big butter is lying to you about the actual contents.
Would you be surprised if that's what I was saying?
No, I would. No. Nothing surprises me anymore.
I wouldn't put it past Kerrygold. What about Tillamook?
That I don't know. And as a Midwestern girl, I don't want to know. I want to keep that
pure.
Fully and pure.
You have the word Tillamook blocked on your TikTok. That's smart. Esther, you often record your podcast alone, and Chris and I have never done that. What are some pros and cons of a solo podcast?
It turns into a therapy session really fast. Like last week I recorded and just started crying over a friend that had passed away. I hadn't thought about the friend in 7 years. Mm-hmm. And I just think like being by yourself and alone with your thoughts, you find things. It's much like journaling. I know there's like the saying, you don't really know what you think until you start writing. And that's like how you find out what's going on in there. I have the same experience with the solo podcast. It's like things come out and I'm just like, whoa, I'm way more fucked up than I thought. Or like, I'm really not over that actually. And so it's like a good experience to learn about what's going on in there.
You're taking a look at under the rug with the vacuum and there's a bunch of shit under there.
Yes. And I do. So I have, that's my solo podcast, My Pleasure. And then I have a more comedy podcast that I do with two other women. And I find that like basically if people want to have a fun time, they can go to the comedy one. The solo one is so weird and boring that like, I don't expect people to listen to it. So I end up being a lot more open and vulnerable. And it's just like become a safe place. It's not, I don't recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel like you can get whatever you need out of your system because nobody's listening to it at all?
In my mind, yes.
In your mind, but obviously you have a lot of listeners, I'm sure.
There's some. There's some freaks out there.
Jason, she doesn't want to talk about numbers. She doesn't want to shit on us.
No, it's all good. I mean,
She's like,
what are
the podcast where I talk about my trauma for 30 minutes a week does better than your little shitty podcast you do 3 times
Not
a week.
a chance.
No, I mean, clearly, obviously it does.
Not
Obviously
a
chance.
It has to.
Not a chance.
But you're a comedian, and so you're used to being on stage talking to a crowd of people alone, so it's probably a little easier for you. But the thought of me, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Chris, but just talking into a microphone for an hour straight, raw.
Honestly, I think if I like sports, I could go Bill Burr mode for sure. If I liked something that like regular bros liked that has no emotion attached to it, and you can just talk about it for 30 minutes.
Maybe after like the daytime Emmys happens or something like that.
After
AMA
Bravo
Awards.
After BravoCon, I could probably do a solo podcast. But other than that, it might be a little too hard for me.
Right.
I think with women, people, for better or worse, expect it to go kind of emotional because it's like you said, it feels like therapy. Whereas I think men, it becomes much like everything else we do, stupid and like ranty. You know what I mean? And like, I just don't think anybody wants to hear that.
People love rants, though. The biggest podcasters in the world are ranters.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I mean, like, even an hour of somebody I like ranting is how much am I paying attention by the last half? I don't know.
Yeah, like, so
it.
is that? Do you listen? Like, is Andrew Tate? Does he do that?
I'm a big Tate guy. I'm more into the brother actually. Just kind of like, I just love their take on Romanian culture. It's kind of something.
It's fresh. I'll give him that.
I wasn't familiar with before. No, I don't listen to any. I don't listen to any solo. I can't even think of a man that does a solo podcast besides Bill Burr.
Yeah, you bring up sports and not liking them, and I do just want to, as almost as a PSA, I used to really hate anything that had to do with sports, and like any time guys talked about it, it would just be like, oh, I hate this, because I think growing up, like, I hated when my dad would put the sports radio station on, and then I would just be so bored and like isolated. But I've since learned, just to, all my people out there listening, there is a benefit, because if a guy likes sports, you can like drop him off with any other guy, and then they have stuff to talk about, and you can just kind of like,
it's like taking him to the dog park.
Yeah. But you're saying you don't like sports at all, Chris?
No, I mean, I don't. It's just something I don't care about. It's not like I'm like anti. I'm just not going to spend 4 hours with the fellas eating wings and cracking some cold ones. That's just not for me. I mean, Jason doesn't do it. I mean, Jason's not into it either.
I'll watch a game every now and again if my friends are into it, but yeah, it's not something that I have any interest in.
I believe it's a rebellion against my Southern upbringing, because it's like part of my, like, college football is literally like in the DNA of Southern people. So I think that I'm just like, that was always not for me. But you make a good point about the usefulness of it, because it is true. It's the one thing that brings most men together.
It bonds so many people.
You'll be glad to know that I was very competitive with the college athletes on my college campus, because I didn't like how much attention that they got. I didn't think it was fair. And so I was really mean to them in my classes with them.
I'm going to assume you were smarter than them, so you were able to kind of raise your hand and be a teacher's pet. Was that the kind of vibe? Or was it more just, I'm not going to talk to you?
It was like more just when they thought they could get away with a half-assed presentation. I was like, I would just be like, I would critique them. And I don't know, I just really didn't like that they got more attention than I did. And I took it out on them. It probably wasn't right of me, but it was what was true for me in the moment.
Just because you got the touchdown on the big game doesn't mean you can turn in this slop and expect to get a B-.
Yeah.
What did you go to a college with a big football program?
I went to University of Illinois, UIUC, Urbana-Champaign. It's a Big Ten school. Does that sound right?
You just said a lot of words.
No, that's big. Yeah, I'm familiar with Big Ten football. It's no SEC, but it's, it has big in the name.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm in the wrong league. My apologies.
Division, but yeah, league is fine too.
Okay.
For a guy who doesn't like sports, Chris, you sure know a lot about it.
Well, people are, every time we talk about sports in this podcast, they're like, you sure do know a lot about football. It's like, because it's just in your, it's like, Jason, you're from Huntington Beach, you know about surfing and racism. Those are the two things you know about. And it's like, it's just that it's part of the culture.
Like,
it's in the water.
I know about Holocaust museums and KKK marches. Like, we all have a culture that we bring to the table.
We didn't ask for it, but it is us. Esther, I was looking at your Twitter. You tweeted something that caught my eye. Feeling sad and ugly is a normal part of the hot girl life cycle. This is why people in New York have better summers than people in Los Angeles.
Yes.
What is the correlation between all of that?
So I wrote this essay for Bustle about feeling ugly, and it was inspired by like living a life. And I don't know if you guys relate to this, where like you just truly don't know if you're good looking or not. And like it's kind of all dependent on your mood or lighting or like how you slept, but ultimately just like how you feel. And so there's one thing I came up with, which is like this coping mechanism to deal with what happens when like people on the internet are like, you're ugly. And it's basically, I've decided that I am more empowered when I identify as ugly, because Scarlett Johansson can like go out and be a movie star and it's like big fucking deal. She's beautiful, like good for you. But I feel like if you're not a 10 like her and you're not the like perfect fit to the standard of beauty or whatever, it's like you're actually so much more confident and more special if you're able to find success without being so good looking. So that's like one way that I've decided to cope with it. But then also just embracing that feeling ugly is good for you, because then when you do feel hot, it's like, it's honestly, this is going back to drug addiction. It's like, you know, you take the break, the tolerance, you build that, you know, get that low so it hits harder. Same thing with looks. It's like, oh, I want to feel ugly so that on hot days they really hit. Does that make sense?
No, I do the same thing all the time, actually. There's like whenever I know that there's an event coming up, a Celine fashion show, or a New Year's Eve party, whatever it may be, the few days leading up to it, you know, I won't shave. I won't, you know, like I won't have the same upkeep. And then the morning of, I'm doing my scrub, my mask, I'm trimming it up.
He uses gel.
I'm using all my gels and I'm steaming my outfit and I'm picking it all out. So then when you finally do come out of the door, you get that high a little bit more.
Yes.
But Esther, if you have to go out on stage and do stand-up almost every night, how does that work out? Do you just go up on stage?
You know, that's actually a newer thing to me, I think, because when I started stand-up, it was really not quite feminism had happened yet. That was a good sentence. But like, it was really misogynistic. And it was like,
Yeah.
especially at the Comedy Store in 2009, people were like, if you try to look hot as a girl on stage, like you are nothing, that's getting in the way of your jokes. Like, so it was very much ingrained in me to like cover your body, wear baggy clothes. And I still do that a lot because of like, that was just so ingrained in me. But, and I actually feel like I do better when I go up on stage feeling like a slob, because I feel more like myself and I'm not trying to be something I'm not. But that said, like when I have a taping or something, I'll
Of course.
do it up and try to make that work too. But no, that feeling, the way I feel about my physical appearance it's not at play when I'm performing, weirdly, because I don't want it to be.
Yeah, you got to get
No,
these
that makes
fucking...
sense.
What's more important than looks? But thank you.
Well, I think a tight 15 at the Chuckle Hut in Cleveland is more important. You know what I mean? If you chose this career, you're saying that's more important. That's on you.
Are you the type of person that likes to have your core friend group be hotter than you, or do you want to be the hot one in the group?
Oh my God. I am by far the ugliest in my friend group, and it always will stay that way. Yeah. I have a little sister complex. Like I grew up with an older sister who's 7 years older than me. We were half siblings, and she's hotter, way hotter, older, cooler, wouldn't let me in her room, like had, you know, skinny arms, big boob, great breast to arm ratio that I could never achieve.
I've never heard the term breast to arm ratio.
Oh my God, you must join the
Where
comedy
have I
community.
been hiding?
Yeah.
I need to get more toxic.
That has really like shaped who I am in a big way. So I feel like everywhere I go, I'm like looking for a cooler big sister. And that's like how all my female friendships work.
Okay.
Cooler, hotter big sisters.
I like to be surrounded by hotties as well. And I describe some people that I work with. That's part of their appeal. It's like, this guy can write emails. He's on top of it. He looks good. I can take him somewhere.
I guess,
you know?
to borrow a real estate
important.
term,
It is.
you want
It's
to
important
be
to present well.
the ugliest house on the nicest street. That's the best place to be investment wise, and that's kind of how we all seem to be.
Oh yeah.
Except I'm the hot one in my friend group. But you guys are kind of like that, so it's cool.
We're elevating ourselves. But because also you guys know about the cheerleader effect.
Do tell.
Is that a Netflix show?
No, it's an effect.
That's an effect. Okay.
But basically, like, if you're in a group of girls, you automatically look hotter because you're in a group. Like, it elevates the looks of everyone just by having there be more.
I've heard
you.
of this. I've heard of this before, and that's why bottle service. That's why bottle service was invented.
So it all just kind of blurs into one hot energy coming from it, and
Yeah,
that does make sense.
Yeah, my fiance taught me about it, and I'm like, wait, what is he trying to say? But
we're gonna want to flag that.
That's interesting.
When are you getting married, Esther?
Okay, this is another very complicated question.
Okay,
I've been engaged for 5 years.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're at a standstill. Complete and utter standstill over that, to the point where I actually recently changed my last name to his as more of a chess move than anything else.
that's
So you're saying like legally changed it?
I mean, legally on Instagram, is there a difference?
right.
Oh,
right.
so that because I was like, I knew you had King is the new last name on Instagram.
Yes.
And that does roll off the tongue because I thought, I don't know, I knew your last name was more complicated than that, but I went blackout mode and just read Instagram in this intro. So
So neither of us. I corrected him and I said, I think the name is Pavitsky. And he's like, no. So we're both right.
So yes, and that is a branding issue on my part. Like, I know we want to keep it streamlined and clear, but we're going with Esther King, and I guess it is more of a rebrand than anything else.
Esther King sounds like a high earning OnlyFans account. So I'm gonna give you props there.
Wait, that's the best compliment I've ever gotten in my whole life. Oh my God. I might ask you to say that again privately.
We're going to need a clean take. Okay, so when you did this chess move of changing your social media profile name to your fiance's God-given last name, how did he react on his chessboard of life?
He didn't love it, actually.
Who would have thunk?
He didn't love it. Okay. Did he? Okay, so did that light a fire under his ass to set a date? Or is this all on him? Or is this something that we don't want to talk about at all?
No, I don't mind at all. He's very private, but he won't listen to this. It's fine. Basically,
What's his first name?
His name is Dave King.
Dave's a listener.
He wants to have a wedding. I do not.
Oh.
Okay. And that's it. It's like we're literally there. I'm like, babe, I will marry you right here, right now. Let's go to the courthouse. Let's do it. And he's like, no, I want my family there. So we're just at this standstill. And we almost thought we were in a compromise zone. And then
Is Dave, let me ask a sensitive question. How's Dave's paper looking?
Paper. Do you mean, is that like a financial question?
That's right.
Well, it's funny you should ask.
Because he's behaving like a person who has money.
Wait, is he?
No.
I don't know.
I'm just answer the question.
Miss King, answer the question.
Miss King, answer the question. I'm not going to ask you again.
By the way, that is true. We are currently Mr. and Miss King. We are not Mr. and Mrs. Okay, so this is more as a joke, but I'll let you see if there's truth on your own imagination.
Okay.
When he proposed to me 5 years ago, he did make more money than me. And now he doesn't. And I'm a little bit like, not in a rush anymore. Now, this is something I talk about on stage, so forgive me for being a hack.
Mr. King, he should have shit or get off the pot. He had his chance. He was like, I'm making more money than you. We're going to have a wedding, and because I say so. And you would have been like, yeah, I guess, that's the way that cookie crumbles. Now Esther's sold a couple scripts.
No,
podcast money's starting to come in a little bit.
Honestly,
and now you're kind of like,
that is a joke.
Maybe we do it my way.
It doesn't seem like a joke, but go ahead.
I would marry him. I don't want a wedding. I don't want to see my family happy, most of all. So we're just in this weird place. Look, but I changed my last name to his. We're gonna be together.
It's not an issue of love. It's just you don't want to have a wedding ceremony this badly.
Right.
Not willing to compromise whatsoever on this. What if Dave just gets a small ceremony? I'll DJ
I
it.
just don't want to do a family thing. I also think that, like, you know, I know because I do stand up, it seems like I want attention, which I do. And I think I don't want to have a day where I have to share it with him. That also doesn't sound ideal.
No, that's a big problem for you. That's the thing about being a solo artist. When you have to get when the Spice Girls reunite, there's still a star. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're stand up. You're not in an improv
Yeah.
troupe. You need all the lights on you.
You're not on SNL because you chose not to be.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this, why you don't want to have a wedding ceremony. Because I mean, isn't it usually kind of the other way around with the fella being a little resistant?
Yeah, I just did not grow up with that gene of like wanting to have babies and have a wedding. Like I never wanted that. In fact, when my grandma for Christmas gave me
I blame the clan.
a baby doll, I said I won't drive home with it in the car. It has to be in the trunk. Like it freaked me out, like a baby doll. Very cool. Very cool. Cool chick right here.
Yo, cool chick alert.
Baby dolls are really germ heavy if you think about it. That's all I'm saying.
You know, Chris, for a guy who doesn't like baby dolls, you sure know a lot about them.
It's true. Sorry, I hate when I use my common sense on the mic.
All right, Esther. Well, thank you for taking the time to pod with us today. Hopefully Dave does listen and maybe he'll change his ways. Dave, it's not about the ceremony. It's about you and I together, coming together.
I don't know what Dave does for a living, but I have a feeling if Dave lives in Silver Lake and he's white, he probably does listen to this podcast.
I'll tell you this.
Just a numbers
he
game.
will love it. This is you guys would all be friends, and I love this podcast. So
you mean you love doing this, or have you listened to it before?
no, I listened to it. One of my best friends is she's a big fan, and she turned me on to it, and I love it. And
Oh, great.
yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you.
I love like LA culture.
Let's give her a shout out.
I'm afraid to say her name publicly because I don't know if she wants people to know that I identify as her being my best friend.
Okay.
But I will say it. Okay, I will say it after.
It's a dog whistle.
Okay.
Her name is Rumi Neely, but you might have to block that out. I'll have to ask
She
her.
follows us. She doesn't give a shit.
Okay. It's less about her liking you, and that I'm not concerned about that being private, more just her being my friend.
This is kid sister syndrome all over again.
Yes. Wow, you get me.
She's proud to call you a friend. She's proud to call you a friend, and you're proud to call her a friend. It's beautiful.
Oh my god, you guys are healing all my childhood trauma.
Rumi needs you, Esther.
Yeah, who wouldn't be proud to call you a friend?
Thank you.
Talented, successful.
You're the cashew to her air fryer, and vice versa.
Damn,
Wow.
Jason, you didn't have to go that hard, bro. All right, Esther, appreciate you. Thank you for coming on How Long Gone, and we'll see you soon for sure.
Thanks for having me.
All right, later.
Bye, guys.
Much love.